Hauntings of Forgotten by Kochineshka on AO3. Chapter 5. Zuko knew about 8 precepts for over a year now, but only in the past week did he learn about Eri's existence and her treatment. "Hi," he greeted her quietly, even though he wasn't initially planning on talking to her. But he knows how it is to have no one to reach out to talk to you. To a certain point, they had both been forgotten by the world. Who are you?" she whispered, taking a step back. He smiled sheepishly, not wanting to scare her more and hoping to assure her he didn't mean anything bad with his expression. "No one important, really," he said. "You looked sad, so I decided to come and say hi." "You shouldn't," she whispered, glancing fearfully towards the doors he'd actually entered through not even 5 minutes ago. They didn't even lock her up, knowing she was too afraid to try leaving the room. He can hurt you and then put you back together, and then hurt you again but leave you broken forever." He crouched down and tilted his head with a brave smile. "But he won't, because people don't remember me, and it doesn't really make sense for someone to attack who they can't even remember, right?" She nodded lightly. It made sense. "Then, can you take me from here?" she asked in a small voice, looking at him with big, hopeful eyes. "Not right now, but I will make sure to save you, so just wait for a little bit longer, alright? I promise you will leave this place." Tears started falling down her face, and he hugged her. He was pretty sure she cried herself to sleep, so he lifted her and put her on the bed, but when he was about to step away, she grabbed his shirt lightly. "Will you come and visit me again before I can leave?" she whispered, and he tousled her hair gently. "I will, even if you don't remember me," he assured her, and she furrowed her brows. "You promised to save me. I can never forget you." He wanted to believe her words, but he knew better than to bring his hopes too high, and anyway, in the end he wouldn't even be the one doing the actual saving. Sure, he could take her and leave, but while he was confident in his ability to be forgotten, he's pretty sure the Yakuza would notice her disappearance. So he needed to reach out to heroes. He even already had an idea of how to approach them about it, but first, he needed to gather as much info as possible. He had spent the next 2 days mapping out the layout of the base, making notes on people working there, and even managed to download data from Overhaul's computer to a pen drive. And when in the safety of his house, he ejected it, and that's how he learnt about Trigger and Quirk erasing bullets. One's which intention was to permanently take power without changing anything else, without any side effects. They sounded nice, but according to the files, they would need endless samples of Eri's blood to make them. They would use her to torture her just because of her power. Rewind could do what their leader needed to achieve his goals. Zuko felt disgusted with himself for even thinking about waiting until those were made before saving Eri. She doesn't deserve the pain that she had been put through. It would be cruel to let her suffer more just so he can have a chance at a normal life. It's selfish and terrible. It isn't how heroes act. So he put the pen drive to the side and went to visit the girl who, rather than being forgotten, deserved the world. Because she kept her promise. She remembered him. Sure, like everyone else, she didn't know how he looked like whenever he left her line of sight, but she had an explanation for that. In her eyes, he was an angel, otherworldly being that went unknown by humans, forgotten by everyone around. A childish fantasy, one speaking of angels with features ever changing, impossible to ever grasp for the little mortal people like herself. And this amazing creature came to save her. He liked that idea, false as it may be, because it made her happier. Look, he's already helping someone. Isn't it making all those good memories worth it? He can save someone, prevent a life full of misery, let them have a future. And some people can somewhat remember him anyway, so it's not like it's all that bad. By the fourth day, he had everything he needed ready, and so he went to one of the few people that could remember him, an underground hero who was trusted enough to make it possible and with connections that could make it smooth. What do you... Aizawa began after opening the doors. He hadn't used his quirk yet and didn't remember this strange kid that walked right into the house. Hey. Eyes flashing red because he was about to grab the child with his capture weapon when everything came back. I need you to take me to Sir Nightai and vouch for my trustworthiness. I've compiled detailed info on the 8 precepts base layout, all members' quirks and statuses. There's a girl that needs saving. I can take her out of there, but it'll be for nothing without someone taking care of her persecutors. The man blinked and pointed at the couch with a sigh. I need a more in-depth explanation before we go anywhere. I'm not happy about you going out of your way to compile information, but I want to look for it nonetheless. Zuko readily took a manila folder out his backpack and put it on the desk, sinking into one side of the sofa while the Razorhead took the other. A few hours later, at an unreasonably early hour, Sir Nightai got unexpected visitors. Getting All Might on board of a raid wasn't hard. After learning of All for One's survival, he wanted to reach out to his old sidekick anyways, but wasn't sure how to go about it. Going after the Yakuza that was experimenting on a literal child admittedly wasn't an ideal way to meet up, but it did make it less suspicious, because there was no way that fiend wouldn't be keeping an eye out for All Might's actions. They've made short work of Yakuza. Between Sir Nightai, Razorhead, Rocklock, All Might, and a few very talented interns, there wasn't much that could go astray. They didn't find the little girl, but in the room she supposedly was kept in was a small note that read as follows. All that fighting seemed pretty dangerous, so I took Eri outside. After you're done wrapping things up, I'll be sure to bring her to you. This one vigilante you never remember. Which made some heroes uneasy, but there were also 2 who felt strangely at ease with that. Not just because it was a vigilante rather than a villain, but they couldn't quite put their finger on why. There was a strange sense of trust they had for the unknown individual, yet no apparent reason for it. Sure, Eraserhead knew he met this vigilante at least a few times, so technically he knew them somewhat well, even though he couldn't remember them at all. And All Might knew they shared quite a bit of info about All for One with him. But what actual reason did he have to believe they weren't someone evil with ulterior motives? So, yes, the 2 of them felt like their judgment was clouded. The one with the clearest mind about this whole thing was Sukauchi, who was confident he never met the vigilante and knew about them only from others. Which wasn't true, he just didn't remember the boy at all. Well, he wasn't happy about the situation. He didn't think the girl was in any danger. He was soon proven correct. Aizawa returned home to a sight of two kids playing Uno on his couch, one perfectly fitting the profile of the girl they were supposed to rescue from Yakuza, while the other seemed vaguely familiar, but for the life of him, the man couldn't tell whether it was he's generic enough that I might have seen him or someone like him, or rather, I met him before, somewhere, I think. He cleared his throat and the girl jumped while the other boy put one card down before looking up. Use your quackamy, please. The request was strange, but there was really no reason to refuse, so he did so and immediately remembered he might never get used to this strange feeling, not because it's so unnatural, quite contrary in fact. It's so fluid, so smooth that he can't help but wonder how is it even possible. You know that power is really strange if even people like Aizawa, who teach future generations of heroes, think that. And All Might with his 1 in a billion one for all. Aizawa decided against questioning how exactly the kid got inside and instead opted to ask about more pressing matters, such as the girl's state. She looked ragged and observed him with careful, wary eyes, although it would soon turn out that she trusted him more than other heroes, since she had been told some good things about him. And neither was it long before the man learned that she firmly believes that the vigilante that helped her was an angel, and that was why no one could remember his appearance. Apart from that, she, surprisingly, seemed to remember most interactions she had with them, and after opening up a bit, she shared with others that they came one day and said they would save her. She also said that they had visited her twice before she got saved. Apparently, they told her all about the heroes, sharing their interest in heroics with her. It made Tsukauchi and the others wonder if the vigilante had tried for a hero school but didn't manage to get in because of their inoffensive quirk. It would make a lot of sense, but for some reason, Aizawa found it unlikely. Sadly, he couldn't explain why he thought so, though. Still, Eri's info was more than they had in a while, and step by step, one day they surely were going to find the mysterious vigilante's identity. Or so they thought, blissfully unaware of the sheer power Midoriya Izuku's quirk possessed. Hello everyone, it's me again for another little update bit. I won't bore you all by going into details, and quite frankly, I'm not going to be sharing many, but I'm back. But I cannot and will not promise a steady upload schedule. Lots of things have been going on in my life at the moment, not least of which including a family member's passing. I hope you can all understand that everything is very hectic, but I can guarantee you that any series that I have begun will be finished. I promise that. Thank you all, and I will see you all very soon.